It's the evening of the 22nd day of May 2025. Good evening. A little cold now, clear sky. The silage has been cut all over the place and there's bulbs everywhere and every direction, which with tractors cutting silage and farmers trying to get their crops started. So, right, I made the video on Tommy Robinson and a lot of the comments don't seem to make much sense. I can't actually understand them, and there's one guy there, David Gray, or Gray David, says he's dyslexic, he has trouble understanding writing, and that's all right, I don't mind that, but he seems to be suggesting to some degrees that I'm in competition with Tommy Robinson. So some kind of a race on between him and I. That seems to be what he's suggesting. I do believe that if you are politically active, that you're trying to change minds in a world where people don't like you to change minds and there's a lot to lose, you got to watch yourself and you got to know what's what. Every video I make, I consider the law on defamation, which I have studied, and studied the case law on it. I don't really see what benefit it would do me to be the subject of litigation, whether I even win or not. If somebody sues me, I got to be prepared to beat them, and that's 15 to 16 days of the courts in Dublin when you have everything done acting in your own defence. So there's no really need, if you keep with the law, they can't really get you. I've no doubt they would if they thought they'd get away with it and shut me up. Tommy Robinson, he made a video, fair enough, to say there's not that much wrong with it, in fact, and that's all right. That was to do with him not taking it down. He wasn't charged with anything. He was ordered to take it down, and he didn't. That's the position there. But this other one about him threatening or putting journalists in fear, the first thing comes to my mind is journalists should be above that, to tell you the truth. But this is the situation. He should know where to go, not to go too far with it. So I don't agree with the comment made by that David Gray, or Gray David, that I can't lecture to Tommy Robinson, because somebody else said he needs a good his barrister left a lot to be desired. And there's another comment. So which of them is right? And why doesn't David Gray take the issue up with that commentator? I mean, he's at complete odds with him. Now, I want to tell you the story. A lad, an African from Somalia, got up one morning and he managed to make his way to Switzerland. And when he got to Switzerland, he made his way to Germany. And when he got to Germany, he travelled somewhere or other to the north coast of France. And when he got to the north coast of France, he managed to get a boat, a bawjeen, as we'd say in Irish, a little boat, right? And he got across the channel and into England. And before night, he was housed in a hotel in England. And he made a video of himself, delighted with himself and his great achievement, where he gets the very same unemployment benefit as if he was the son of parents that worked in coal mines, that fought for Britain and everything else. So this is Starmer's Britain. Now, the day before yesterday, I think it was, or yesterday morning, don't hold me on the exact date, it was either yesterday or the day before, there was a commemoration of the Dunkirk safety expedition. Essentially, about 300,000, I think, Allied troops were stranded on the Normandy beaches, on the beach of France, and Hitler's army were surrounding them and going to annihilate them. And they couldn't get across. They were being beaten back. And there was a flotilla. Every boat on the south coast, every ship, every vessel, every kind of a boat went over with a sailor or a fisherman and managed to fill up and bring them all home. Every one of them were brought back. It was a heroic act of which the British can be very proud, and where ordinary people joined in. It was really, when you think of it, it was people power really doing that. And that shows you the motivation that they had, and the love of their country and their countrymen, and the lack of selfishness to stand up for their own in a time of war. Anyway, this commemoration had to be stopped in the channel while boats loaded with migrants were coming across with the good weather. Boats loaded with migrants were coming across with the good weather. So Starmer believes this is absolutely fantastic. He is trying to roll back a bit since he lost the seat, but he's hoping he has another 3.5 years to serve. Well, maybe 3 years, three and a bit, and he will bring in probably a. The population of Britain is 56 million. I'd say about 40 million migrants into Britain, some of them which will come over through the north and into Ireland. So I'd say his objective is to get 40 million migrants in, but there'll be a lot of pushback against that, just as there is here. We have Micheál Martin. He doesn't want 40 million into Ireland. He wants about 3 million, a little less than the total population of Ireland. And that other fella, Simon Harris, he can't count anyway. He just knows bring them on in and that's it. So, and then Sinn Féin thinks it's wonderful. They love it too. And we've been down that road. There's no need to say that anymore. Now, the situation where a commemoration for that event has to stop and wait for a crowd of buckos coming across looking for free dole, free bees, free hotels. I mean, and the ineptitude of a government that can't do anything about it is just breathtaking. It's breathtaking. It's as if there was a curse on the British. It really is. Now, I don't know whether there'll be much of a kick up about it because I don't watch telly when I'm here. If I'm away at home or that, I do give it. I might see it on, or if I'm in having a drink, which is very rarely. I haven't been in this month. I'd watch it on the telly if somebody's not talking. And then in anywhere you are where there's people, if there's something on the telly, they won't let you watch. They're looking at something else, or they'll start talking in the middle of the program. I was in a person's house the other day, and I wanted to hear something was being said, and they were talking away, and I couldn't hear a word. That was all this went on in Ireland long ago. Anyway, so now, but the thing is with Starmer, the migration is pouring problems on him. There are a lot of commentators, including me, who do not think he'll last the next 3 years. We don't think he'll last the next 3 years. However, while the Conservatives have dumped out several prime ministers of their own prime ministers, the Conservative MPs, there's no precedent or history of the British Labour Party kicking out their own Prime Minister. Now, I don't think enough of them will do it, although there will be some of them jumping ship possibly to Reform UK. And it is an unbelievable situation. Starmer is the most deeply unpopular Prime Minister ever. I mean, Liz Truss, they got rid of Liz Truss. I keep saying this. She was an angel compared to this idiot. Anyway, that's all right. Now there is the issue of whether Starmer acted in good faith when he was the Crown Prosecution headman with the Rotherham or the child abuse, the Pakistanis who were abusing the girls, the white girls, and raping them there. And there's a lot of pressure on that he didn't act properly. He said he did. I'm not just so sure about that. Anyway, there's enough to talk about with me getting involved, but it's pressure. It's pressure on him because he made decisions not that the girls weren't reliable, and his replacement made decisions that they were reliable. So it looked very much as Starmer has terrible sympathy for anyone who has a foreign background, and he wants them to be free from all British laws and to rape and pillage anywhere they like. That seems to be his objective. He really is something else. I really couldn't invent such a man. Now, so to start. Now, just to let you know, there is another issue going on. There's 3 foreign men. One is a Ukrainian. They're from over the Middle East. They're from over Eastern Europe, and don't ask me exactly where they're from. And there's talk about rent buys and all this, and I don't want to say anything here or to bring YouTube or anything into trouble. But there was arson attacks. In other words, they tried to burn 3 properties that Starmer either had or previously had. So he had it was a Kentish town, he had a house, and he's gone out of there. But it was attacked. And 2 other properties that he currently owns were attacked, and they tried to set them alight. So why would they be doing this, and how did they know one of those was his? We don't know, and we can think all we like, but I don't want to say. How would I know, a farmer with cows, what Starmer does or what anyone's doing? Many of one can have their property attacked. Maybe they were just attention seeking. But if it turns out anyway that there is anything with him, it will not do him good. I think overall, he'll try and hold out another 6 months. He'll try to make rules that will not be changed, like what he's done with the EU. He's after giving the EU all the fish again. The French boats can come in and take all the fish they like. He's essentially after ripping asunder the whole Brexit deal, but not the actual Brexit deal itself. But with regard to trade, he's relaxed the trade a lot. And while it'll do a bit of good to businesses that are paying a bit, I think that have got over that. Instead of negotiating and trying to salvage the thing in a sensible way, it's what he just threw all away. Just give them all they wanted. That seems to be the case. So anyway, that's the story. You wouldn't expect anything else. He hates the idea of Brexit, and he will leave it a wee bit weaker. Whether the next government will be able to undo that, no Labour government will ever do it. They love the EU. Labour gets a lot of votes in areas that voted high Brexit. A lot of Labour voters are very strong Brexit people, working class areas. So, all told, his period in office, he's a left-wing socialist, globalist, run by the World Economic Forum, George Soros, mass migration nutter. His economy is in ruins. He aided and abetting the shutting down of the industry. He had emergency rescue Scunthorpe Steelworks, and when he left it impossible for the Chinese to run it with regulation. Now he's running it himself, and there's no regulation at all, it appears. So I don't know how that'll go. So that's enough said. I think I've given you a bit of a pointer. You know now that this happened about the guy coming from Somalia and ended up in England, where he gets full everything. He get everything. We know that Starmer tried to get Albanian government to take the Albanians that he has there away, and they wouldn't do it, naturally enough. We know the policies are the same in Ireland with immigration. We know that he's in a spot of bother as to how he handled the rape gangs when he was a Crown Prosecution Service. And we know that there's something rumbling about arson attacks, and you'd wonder why anyone would bother coming and burning places, and how they would know his previous property. How do they know he owned a particular house in a street? If I walked by it, I wouldn't have a clue it was owned by him. So there's the things you can add up any way you like and think about it. My job is to keep you informed about what's going on here and not have it too long. I think it's only 13 minutes, so that's a nice short video. I think we'll just leave you like that. And that bird, I think that bird has a nest in there, and he feels that I'm threatening his nest. But I was talking to a lady from Sligo. I love that bird singing there, she says. The only way we'd ever get him out of there is if I start to sing as well. All right, we'll see you back. Thank you very much. Bye.